Glenn Close's raw admission on the Wiser Than Me podcast, that she regrets all 3 of her marriages, offers an unflinching portrait of a life shaped by emotional voids and hard-won wisdom, inviting listeners into the psyche of a woman whose on-screen intensity has long masked personal reckonings. At 77, the 7-time Oscar nominee, iconic for roles in Fatal Attraction and Dangerous Liaisons that defined 80s femme fatale, traced her marital missteps to a childhood steeped in the rigid moral rearmament movement. "I've been married 3 times and I shouldn't have married any of them," she confessed to host Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her voice steady but laced with sorrow. "But I had an empty toolbox, so I've had to try to fill that toolbox, as far as human relations and certainly relationships in a marriage, with nothing as a model. So I've made a lot of mistakes. It was sad that I was so unknowing. I always chose the wrong man." Her first union, to Cabot Wade in 1969 at 22, lasted 2 years, a hasty post-college leap into adulthood. The second, to James Marlis in 1984, crumbled after 3 amid her rising stardom. The third, to venture capitalist David Shaw in 2006, endured 9 years before a 2015 divorce, her longest but still fraught. Close attributes these patterns to her upbringing in the MRA, a now-defunct Christian group emphasizing moral absolutes over emotional nuance. Raised in Greenwich, Connecticut, she and siblings were sent to a strict MRA boarding school in Switzerland at 13, isolated from family for 5 years. "It was like a cult," she reflected in past interviews, the dogma instilling perfectionism but starving relational skills. Emerging into adulthood, she sought stability in marriage, only to repeat cycles of mismatch. Yet amid regret, Close finds solace in breaking the chain. Her daughter Annie Maud Stark, 37, born from a premarital relationship with producer John Stark, has forged a stable path. "In my generation and my family we have a lot of divorces," Close noted. "My kids, I think, knock on wood, have found literally life partners." Annie, an actress following her mother's footsteps in Love Everlasting, credits Close's candor for her own grounded choices. This intergenerational shift underscores Close's growth, from silent sufferer to vocal sage, using platforms like the podcast to destigmatize later life reflection. Close's career, spanning Broadway's Barnum to Netflix's The Chair, has paralleled this introspection. Roles like Alex Forrest in Fatal Attraction, the unhinged other woman, mirrored her own relational whirlwinds, earning acclaim but typecasting. Off-screen, she's advocated for mental health, drawing from her grandmother's institutionalization battles. "I wish I'd had therapy earlier," she told Louis-Dreyfus, highlighting how unprocessed trauma fueled her choices. Now, with partner David Peterson since 2019, she embraces companionship sans vows, a quiet rebellion against past scripts. Her story resonates in an age of re-evaluated unions, from celebrity splits to cultural reckonings on consent. Close's honesty, raw, unadorned, reminds that regret isn't defeat but data for reinvention. At an industry gala last year, she toasted, "To the toolboxes we build late, embodying grace in hindsight." For Close, the real plot twist? Thriving beyond the endings she once scripted for herself.